tamang balita at tamang paglilingkod sa Metro and Mega Manila at buong bansa. Ito ang News and Information Station ng Aliw Broadcasting Corporation. Ito po ang DWIZ. Nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama. Ngayong Pasko hanggang dumating ang 2026. Proud member of ALC Group of Companies. Isang pagpupugay, pasasalamat at pagsisikap ang pangako na aming bibitiwan sa lahat ng aming natanggap na pagpapala. Pagpupugay sa lahat ng nagbigay ng pagkilala sa Aliw Broadcasting Corporation mula sa Philippine Outstanding Brand of the Year, Philippine Finest Business Awards, and Outstanding Achievement, Asia Pacific Luminaire Awards, Southeast Asian Premier Business and Achiever Award. Sa aming mga natanggap, 4-time Best AM Station Awardee, DWIZ 882, 4-time Best Radio Newscaster Awardee, Dennis Antenor Jr., 3-time Best FM Station Awardee, Home Radio 97.9, 2-time Most Promising TV Station Awardee, Aliw Channel 23, at Best Public Service Radio Host Awardee, Bragi Braganza. Pangakong itutuloy ang pagbibigay ng tamang balita at tamang paglilingkod at isang malaking pasasalamat sa tiwalang naibigay sa amin. Pakaasahan yung gagawin naming malaking inspirasyon ito para ipagpatuloy ang maglingkod sa lahat ng Pilipino. Ang lahat ng opinyon, pagtingin, pananaw o kuro-kuro ng mga bisita at panauhin o mga anchors o host sa programang ito ay sarili at tanging opinyon at pananaw ng mga nabanggit at hindi opinyon o pananaw ng Aliw Broadcasting Corporation, mga producers o mga namamahala ng Aliw Broadcasting o anumang organisasyon na affiliated sa network at kailanman ay hindi iniendorso ng Aliw Broadcasting Corporation ang mga nabanggit na opinyon at pananaw sa programa.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PAGCOR.
Walang yumayaman sa pagiging empleyado lang. Dapat lahat tayo nagninegosyo. Timing! Narito ang isang programang magbibigay ng tamang gabay sa pagnenegosyo. Pakinggan at panoorin ang mga ekspertong magiging guest dito. Isang show para sa negosyo. DWIZ Negoshow kasama sina Lito Gagni at Gerry Urbina. Pakinggan ng live sa DWIZ. Panoorin ng live sa Aliw 23 at i-follow sa lahat ng digital channels ng DWIZ, Facebook, YouTube at DWIZ News App. Huwag munang magplano, huwag munang sasabak, huwag munang papasok sa negosyo nang hindi napapanood ang show na Negoshow.
Okay, we're back. Magaling yung guest natin, maganda to ha.
Yes.
Tama sa Pasko events and everything. Anyway, gusto ko po lang ipatalastas ang bagong, para sa mga bingo enthusiasts to. PAGCOR gives you an exciting pre-holiday treat with a big-time Bingo Millionario Link Bingo Games with a whopping 13 million in total cash prizes, tax-free. This nationwide bingo event, hosted by Casino Filipino Angeles, is happening on December 7, 2026, starting at 2 p.m. For only 3,000 pesos per ticket, you can play 10 thrilling bingo games for a chance to win 1 million pesos each in games 1 to 9, plus the 3 million must-go jackpot in game 10. Additional local bingo game with a total of 1 million in cash prizes will also be held at participating Casino Filipino sites nationwide. Mark your calendars and join the year's biggest bingo event, the Big Time Bingo Millionario. Visit www.casinofilipino.ph or follow Casino Filipino on Facebook for more details. At gusto ko pa rin ipatalastas yung tungkol dito sa online gaming upang sugpuin ang lumalalang kaso ng illegal na online gaming sa bansa at protektahan ang mga manlalaro laban dito, inilunsad ng Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation o PAGCOR ang PAGCOR Guarantee website. Maaari i-check ng publiko sa nasabing website kung lisensyado at lehitimo ang isang online gaming site bago sila maglaro o magbayad. Regular na ina-update ang website at may direktang link ito sa mga lisensyadong gaming platforms. Ayon kay PAGCOR Chairman and CEO Alejandro Tenco, matutulungan ito ang publiko na makaiwas sa panlililang habang pinoprotektahan ang kanilang karapatan bilang manlalaro. Paalala pa ni Chairman Tenco na maging mapanuri sa bawat online gaming activity na sasalihan sapagkat dumarami ang mga reklamo hinggil sa illegal na gaming sites na hindi nagbabayad ng panalo. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, bisitahin ang www.pagcor.ph/pagcorgante. Yan!
Yan.
Back sa guest natin, no?
So our
Alfie,
guest
ah.
today, very
Magaling
inspiring.
ang guest, very inspiring. Ganda ng, ano nito, ha?
Background
What a-
guest po natin today is Mr. Jing Hamlang.
Yes.
Yeah, siya po isang TV and event host and isang bagong member ng BNI dito,
BNI.
ng Business Network International. Magandang hapon, Jing.
Magandang hapon, isang karangalan na makasama kayo ngayong hapon. No? So,
Wow, galing
having me.
magtagalog.
Oo nga eh.
Akala ko, Amerikano to.
So anyway, Jing, siguro let's talk about your career beginnings nga nung bago ka, siguro how did you get into yung TV and event hosting and particularly sportscasting, di ba?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, you know, it started when I got out of college. Actually, I spent 3 years in De La Salle University studying marketing. And then when I got out, I threw that all away and went straight into broadcasting. I got into radio, actually. Sa
Wow,
99.5.
galing nga, Lasal. Ang galing na Lasal, ano ha? Mahusay sila.
So nakapasok ako sa 99.5, and then there was an opening actually with the United Football League as the
wow,
first
football.
professional football league that was coming up. I decided, I needed to be involved right away. So there was an opening there, and they said you could write as long as you helped create, organize some of the games. Sabi ko, sige, kahit anong papagawa niyo sa akin, gagawin ko yan basta makapagsulat ako tungkol sa football. So I got my foot in the door there, and then eventually the league started to succeed because of the explosion of the ASCALs at the time,
Yes.
noong 2010.
Yep.
And TV5 wanted to get involved in broadcasting the games. So they ended up started looking for football commentators, and I
Wow,
threw my
galing,
hat
ah.
into the ring, and I auditioned. And luckily for me, I was part of the selection of the pool of talents that
Kala ko,
got in.
puro offside eh.
Wait, Jing, yung passion mo for football, paano
Yeah.
nagsimula yan?
How
It-
did it come about?
Siguro, when I was much younger, actually, I was living in Indonesia for a while.
Uy, apakabar.
Bye. So I was over there for a little while, and my sister had grown an interest in Manchester United. It's a football club
Wow,
in
wow.
England.
Okay.
Because of somebody like David Beckham, a good-looking
Oh,
man,
yeah,
had caught her eye. And at the time, I started, watching the highlights and getting engaged, but it didn't really switch on for me until the 1998 World Cup. So the
1998 World Cup.
the one that
Okay.
France won.
The
Yep.
World Cup.
And that was my first experience staying up late or waking up early in the morning to watch the matches. And that's something I still do until today. Waking up at 3 a.m., watching games, or staying up at 12:30 to watch the matches that are taking place in Europe.
Yep.
I see.
So from there, I don't know, I really just had a love for football.
So how did it happen that you were able to transition immediately to an event management team from your football?
Doing events was actually like something that was connected to me through radio. So,
I see.
in radio, you need to find ways to make more money, right?
Galing.
So at the time when I I graduated, my parents were like, okay, it's your passion, that's great, that's fine,
Yes, sir.
but you also have a future of wanting to have your own family and all of this,
Yeah.
right? So you need to be able to support that, and what you're making right now in radio, you need to be able to supplement it. So they started opening doors with, okay, you're a radio personality, siguro magaling ka magsalita. Siguro, paano kung mag-host ka ng wedding ko? Okay, sige, host ko yung wedding mo.
Yun ang start.
Yeah, so from there, nakilala ko yung mga wedding organizers.
Yep.
And then they started to, recommend me to their clients. And then the ball started rolling for me. So
For the event.
yeah, it started with friends, and then with family, with weddings, and then eventually the wedding organizers started taking notice, and then I've always, for 15 years, I've been hosting weddings and
Wow,
events and all of these
Weddings,
things,
ah.
right? So
Galing,
it's
ah.
just something that I've enjoyed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, can you talk about yung gandang kwento yan eh, yung first wedding na
Oh. And then how
hinost mo.
How did it go?
How did it go?
Yeah.
It was a good friend of my brother's, kabarkada niya.
Okay.
Tapos sa
Wait,
Baguio.
were you able to charge a TF? May talent fee ba yan?
Meron,
Okay,
meron,
good.
oo.
So, first go mo, may TF ka na
Yes,
kaagad.
yes.
Magaling
Maliit lang
yan.
naman. Maliit lang naman yung hiningi ko. Kasi
Oo.
sabi ko, alam mo, this is my, I don't want to charge a premium for something that
Yeah.
I may do terrible at. Hindi ko alam eh, di ba? So,
Tama, oo.
so sabi ko, a nominal fee, I will do it. And the best thing that I did during that time, it was in Baguio, malamig. I brought two white shirts underneath, and I realized, I'm a guy who sweats a lot. And when the pressure is on, which it was when I started, kailangan ko magpalit.
Okay.
It was a cold venue, it really was.
Yes.
But first time ko eh. So talagang kinabahan ako and everything. And it really is, it was at that point and it continues to be. Once you're able to get through the intro,
Oh. Ayos
everything
na.
is calm. Everything is relaxed. Once you've made your connection to the audience,
Okay.
okay na. It
So how
actually went
did you
well.
do your connection? Where was that aha moment for the listeners and for you yourself?
For me, it's, I need to be prepared for the beginning.
Uh-huh.
That's it. If I can
Okay.
feel like I can create a connection and get a response from one group of people, okay na ako. And the ball starts to roll and I start to become calm and
Ayun.
get at
No,
it.
Kasi
curious lang.
yeah, ganyan yan eh, di ba?
Oo.
Connection.
Connection.
Yeah.
Wait, curious lang. Did you approach it with humor? Nagpatawa
Yeah.
ka ba?
Yes.
Yun.
Yes.
Yun
Alam,
Humor is always
o kumanta
good.
ka,
Oo.
o what?
Unfortunately, wala tayong talent na ganyan. No? But it was with a little bit of humor. Just kasi nga, kabarkada naman ng kuya ko,
Ayun.
kilala ko yung mga ibang tao.
Okay.
So pwede ko humirit ng konti. And once I got that first laugh,
Wow,
ayan na
easy
yung,
na.
relax na. Andiyan na tayo. We're here. We're ready to go.
Yeah,
right?
importante kasi yung you hit the right note. Eh.
Yes.
Correct,
Yes.
Oh. Galing.
Yeah. Wait, yun nga, can you talk about that light bulb moment nga when you realize na talagang itong sportscasting tsaka event hosting, this is what I want to do.
Oo nga.
That's the thing. One thing that I've noticed in my career is that I've always just followed the passion that I had,
Okay.
Ayun.
rightly or wrongly. I can't say that it's always been right for me, because it would pay, in hindsight, to be a bit more methodical and logical in my approach. But hindsight is 2020. At the time, I was
Yeah.
just going with, this seems like it could be fun. Sige,
Yeah.
try natin. And so I never really thought na parang I'm gonna do this for 15 years down the road.
Wow.
Hindi ko
And
naman
now you're
naisip yun
going 15th year.
Yeah, yeah.
Kasi our listeners are, entrepreneurs, would be entrepreneurs and businessmen.
or even employees that are
Yes.
looking at starting a side hustle,
Right,
diba?
right.
So, how did you make that connection that they can also, get acquainted with so that they can make that connection with their customers, mga ganyan, di ba? Oh.
Yeah, for me, it was just, there was interest in me because I had the fortunate privilege of being in media.
Okay.
So nakita nila
I
ako,
see.
magaling magsalita to, right?
Yung radio hosting mo.
Yes. And
So,
also the
bagay,
sportscasting.
Yung co-anchor ko, ang dami na, maraming kumukuha sa kanya. From Australia. Oh, grabe.
Really?
Yes, kasi radio hosting magaling. Magandang boses.
Ay, thank you, Tito. Thank you. Speaking of bosses, diba? Jing, yung voice mo, yung unique voice mo, how did you develop that? Kasi I'm sure madami nag-iisip ngayon, nanonood at
Paano?
nakikinig right now. Okay, I also want to go into hosting.
Sure.
Diba? Kailangan ko ba mag-enroll sa voice lessons?
O, may mga ganyan, di ba?
Oh, kasi may mga ganyan na offerings, diba? Around town, diba? Oh,
I
did you
Alam mo
enroll?
ang the best voice na courses sa Lasal lang naman. Hindi ko alam sa iba. Lasal, I know.
Wala ba sa UE, Tito?
Wala.
Sana nga,
Lasal lang.
Talaga, ha, Tito?
May kurso palang ganun sa Lasal. Sana nag-enroll ako.
Yeah.
No, for me, the voice itself. I was just asked this yesterday. Actually, did I take any voice lessons or something like that? I
Yes.
said, hindi. You know, I didn't focus on that too much. I guess I got a bit lucky with the voice in
I
terms of
see.
the modulation and that.
Nice.
But it's about listening a lot. When I was much younger, I spent a lot of time listening to sportscasters, listening to
I
radio.
see.
Yep.
And I think inherently you start to absorb what you like and you start to avoid what you don't like, right? So
Yep.
you start to develop this taste for what you would like to be able to portray yourself as when you get the opportunity yourself. So that combination of things, when in high school and in going
College.
into college, I would say I watched sports religiously.
Okay.
I watched a lot of football. I watched presenters and took note of those that I thought, wow, that
Yes.
was great.
yeah.
And then that other guy, not so good. I didn't enjoy that. So I took note of bakit ba hindi? Bakit kaya hindi ko siya nagustuhan?
So inano mo yung
Oo.
ano yung masama, ano yung hindi maganda, ano.
And
So what was the most
Uy!
challenging? What was the most challenging that you have undertaken dito sa yung event
Hosting.
journey, di ba?
Okay, for hosting, the most difficult thing is to work alongside organizers that are
Okay.
organizers that are not organized.
Naku.
Diba? So organizer
Delex
kami.
yun. Delex.
Pero medyo fast and loose sila with the rundown kung paano tayo magtatrabaho.
Okay.
10 minutes for
kulang.
an intro pero Jing, kailangan namin ng 10 more minutes kasi hindi pa ready yung isang part ng program natin. Yung mga ganyan, that to me was the most difficult. Coming from a background of radio in particular, kung saan, okay, play tayo ng dalawang kanta, meron tayong 30 seconds, yan lang yung gagamitin natin, magsasalita tayo, shoot na shoot yan, bago mag-stop, pumasok yung downbeat ng next song,
Tapos
bitaw na
na.
tayo, diba? So, kailangan swabe yung segue. Pag sinabing biglang, 30 seconds lang, ay, Jing, dagdagan natin ng 5 minutes. Iba yon, diba? So, nagiging problema siya. And that made me appreciate so much more getting an opportunity to work with professionals
Ayun.
na talagang malinis tayo magtrabaho. Kung meron man tayong kailangan mag-extend, may baon tayo, handa tayo. Ganyan. And then you start to see, okay, these are the people that I jive with. This is the type
Okay.
of people that I would like to work with down the road.
Yeah.
Pero matindi
Ayan, ito.
Imagine from sports, event, tapos event. Hindi ang laki ng yung jump.
Disparity.
Yeah. Oh, you know, the way I think about it though is there's a real similarity between the two, in that your goal really is to connect to the audience, right? As long as you think about it that way, it makes it the same for me. Para sa akin, I want to provide value to the person sitting down in the seat, watching the game, or if you're at the event. It's really not about me. That's the thing, right? People think about, sometimes I want to get into this because I'm going to be seen in front of a lot of people, or I'm going to take pictures with famous people, I'm going to meet blah, blah, blah. It's not that for me. It's really about the same kid that was watching in the seat where I was. I appreciated being given a feel of the game that was different, added dynamic to a game. And when I'm watching a host operate, I also like a person who makes me feel like I'm part of the event. It's not about him per se, you know, like it's about him shining a light on the right things.
Ayun.
And
So
I
in
like
a
to
way,
do
you
that.
were always upskilling your
100%. Need to. You need to, because people are getting better and
Halimbawa,
better
ito
also.
December, maraming hosting ka yan. Maraming weddings yan.
Actually, medyo na-late na ako with regards to, because I was actually very busy with the Football Federation prior
Yes,
to this.
okay.
So
I see.
I wasn't really saying to people that I'm open for your year-end parties, and I'm a bit late to the ball game at that point. But now I'm planting seeds for next year.
Yeah.
na.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why you're here, di ba?
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
How can event organizers, people that are looking for hosts for December,
Oo.
or,
Yeah.
how can
How
they
can
get
they
in
reach
contact
you?
with you?
Yeah.
Actually, it's very easy now with social media. My name is Jing Hamlang. I'm on it on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find me there. You could message me there. And yeah, it's never been easier to connect with people.
Okay.
So
Galing.
Yeah. Jing, what was your most memorable event hosting
Yan.
and why?
Most memorable yan.
that's a good question. You know, for
Baka
event
naman,
hosting.
event na naghiwalay sila, no? Hindi naman. Yeah.
Well, for weddings, I would say it was with my wife's family. Her
Okay.
cousin said that she wanted to have her wedding hosted, and you know, I think we were still dating at the time, so hindi pa kami kasal ng asawa ko. But obviously, this is her family. I want to make a good impression.
Oh, yes.
I was so nervous in Tagaytay. Sobrang aga ko dumating to prepare myself. And once the people started coming in, isang tita niya, very nonchalantly sabi niya, wag kang corny ha. Sabi niya sabi niya,
Grabe naman si tita.
Flippantly just said it. It was just a joke to her. But for me, I was like, oh nga, wag kang corny. So, you know, getting through that and hitting the right notes and getting a feel of the crowd that they really enjoyed themselves.
Wow.
I think for me, that was a feeling na, okay, I mean, it's one thing to do 1,000 people in a room full of strangers. If they judged me, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna be away from these people forever. But eto, pamilya to eh. Makikita ko sila every few months and they're gonna look at me.
Galing,
At least I know I can look at them in the eye and say, I did a good job. So that for me was one of the big ones. And then of course there is the World Cup parties. I had a
Okay.
big one in the City of Dreams, or is it Okada, where, you know, there's a huge room and this is my sport. This is the pinnacle of the sport, and I get to share my passion in front of a lot of people. So I really enjoyed that as well.
Wow.
Ganda. Yes,
Well, let's move on to your sports commentating naman,
Yeah.
di ba?
Sure.
But I think before we move on to that, kailangan muna natin mag-break for
Okay.
commercial. It's 2:24.
DWIZ Negoshow. Alamin kung bawal o hindi. Dahil kung di mo alam to, kaso ang kakaharapin mo sa NBI. Nako, bawal ito.
Palaging nagpapark ang inyong kapitbahay sa inyong driveway o sa inyong tapat? Nako, bawal ito. Don't block the driveway. Yan ang kadalasang makikita mong nakapaskil o kung minsan nga nakasulat pa gamit ang pintura sa gate ng inyong kapitbahay. Pero paano kung ang inyong driveway ay madalas harangan ni neighbor at nung nakiusap ka, sila pa ang galit at tila gusto pang mang-away? Nako, alam mo bang labag sa batas yan? Ayon sa Section 46, Paragraph F ng Republic Act No. 4136 o ang Land Transportation and Traffic Code, mahigpit na pinagbabawal ang pagparada ng anumang sasakyan na maaring humarang o makaistorbo sa access ng isang private property. Ang sinumang lumabag ay maaaring pagmultahin ng hanggang 2,000 piso. At kung sakaling nakiusap ka naman sa kanila, ngunit patuloy pa rin silang pumaparada, maaari mo silang kasuhan ng paglabag sa Article 287 ng Revised Penal Code o Unjust Vexation, kung saan sila ay maaaring magmulta o makulong hanggang 30 araw. Kaya kung mayroon kang sariling sasakyan, maghanap ka na lang ng lugar na mapagpaparkingan. Konting hiya naman, hindi yung ikaw pa ang galit kapag sinasabihan. Hindi rin porket maluwag ang pwesto, ikaw na ay mangiistorbo. Baka masabihan ka ng, nako, bawal ito.
Nakaaway mo ba ang boss mo dahil sa isang bagay na work-related? May issue ka ba sa kumpanya na work-related at di mo alam paano i-handle? Kung problema mo ay work-related, kinig, nood at follow na sa DWIZ Work-Related. Kasama ang motivational speaker ng Pilipinas, si Lloyd Luna, at ang kanyang mga expert na mga bisita sa DWIZ Sabado 3 p.m. Mga lugar na pinuntahan ng ibang tao, mga produkto, serbisyo na rekomendado. Alamin sa Highly Recommended.
Handa ka na bang lasapin ang mga kakaibang putahe na tanging sa Mindoro mo lang matitikman? Simulan natin yan sa sinaing na tulingan, isang bullet tuna at niluluto ng dahan-dahan sa palayok kasama ng asin at sampalok. Ang adobong wasay-wasay, isang espesyal na bersyon ng adobo na gumagamit ng wasay-wasay na isang uri ng shellfish na niluluto sa tradisyonal na timpla ng toyo, suka, bawang at paminta. Ang ube halaya ng sablayan naman ay isang matamis na panghimagas na gawa sa sariwang ube, kilala sa bayan ng Sablayan bilang espesyal na handa tuwing may pagdiriwang. Ang uok, isang exotic na pagkain sa Oriental Mindoro. Ito ay mga coconut worm na tradisyonal na sinangag ng mga mangyan. Bagamat kakaiba sa paningin, ito ay may natatanging sarap. Seaweed Canton, isang inobatibong putahe na nagsasama ng pansit canton at sariwang seaweed, nagbibigay ng kakaibang twist sa tradisyonal na pansit. Kaya't wag na magatubili. Puntahan ang Mindoro at hayaang ang mga natatanging lasa nito ang magdala sa'yo sa isang unforgettable experience. At yan ang ating highly recommended.
Latest, pinakabago at tama. DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
Pilipinas, narito na mga tamang balita sa oras na ito. Pangulong Marcos dilinaw na may 3 bagay na tinututukan ng pamahalaan sa investigasyon sa flood control anomalies. Kung ano-ano yan, alamin sa report ni Patrol 13, Gilbert Pebdes.
Nilinaw ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na may 3 bagay na pangunahing tinututukan ng administrasyon sa investigasyon ng mga kaso ng korupsyon, partikular sa flood control scam. Ang una, ayon sa Pangulo, ay ang pagsasampa ng kaso laban sa mga may sapat na ebidensya. Pangalawa, ang pagbabalik ng ninakaw na pondo sa gobyerno. At ang pangatlo, ang pagpapatupad ng mga reforma upang hindi maulit ang gantong uri ng pang-abuso. Ayon sa Pangulo, mahalaga maingat at kumpletong pagbuo ng kaso upang hindi ito mahinto o mabasura dahil sa kakulangan ng ebidensya o pagkakamali sa proseso, kung saan ang pinakamasamang magiging resulta raw anya ay ang paglaya ng mga dapat managot dahil lamang sa procedural lapses. Binanggit din ng Pangulo na sinimulan na ang pagsasampa ng kaso laban sa mga individual o yung grupong may matibay na ebidensya, kaya't na ito raw yung mga nasampahan nga ng kaso. Kasabay nito itiniyak ng Pangulo na hahanapin at ibabalik ang mga pondong ninakaw upang magamit ng tama para sa serbisyo publiko. Ipinunto ng Pangulo na may pinatutupad na reforma para hadlangan ang pagkakaroon ng kahalintulad na mga katiwalian sa hinaharap. Binigyan din ni Pangulo Marcos ng layunin ng administrasyon ay panagutin ang lahat ng may sala, may balik ang pondo at itaguyod ang mga pagbabago sa sistema. Patrol 13, Gilbert Perdes para sa impilang may totong lakas. DWIZ, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
Samantala, political isinusulong na anti-political dynasty bill ikinababahala ng isang mambabatas. Kung sino yan, alamin natin sa live report ni Patrol 30, Jelly Mendez. Jelly!
Yes, Daryl, nababahala si Isabela 1st District Representative Tony Pet Albano sa isinusulong na anti-political dynasty bill sa Kamara. Kasunod na rin ito ng pahayag ni House Speaker Faustino D. Deserd na gagawing prioridad na mababang kapulungan ang pagpasa sa naturang panukala maging ang Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption Bill. At sinabi ni Albano na tama lang na bigyan ng kahulugan ang political dynasty nang hindi nasasagasaan ang karapatan ng isang tao na kumandidato. Kung saan niya ang tatanungin, dapat umano ay isulong ang definition ng political dynasty hindi sa proseso ng demokrasya kundi sa political sense ng appointments. Aminado rin ang mambabatas na mismong siya at ang kanyang pamilya ay matuturing na political dynasty at iginiit na hindi dapat malimitahan ang mga magagaling na lingkod bayan na nais tumakbo sa eleksyon. Kaugnay nito, hinimok ni Albano ang taong bayan na lumahok sa mga gagawing pagdinig dahil bukas naman anya ang panukala sa kritisismo at opinyon ng publiko. Ito si Patrol 30. Jelly Mendez nag-uulat para sa impilang may todong lakas sa DWIZ. Nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
Pambansang pulisya nagbabala laban sa peking PNP social media account. Kung anong dapat tutukan, alamin sa report ni Patrol 17, Jopel Peleño.
Binigyang babala ng PNP ang publiko laban sa peking Philippine National Police social media account. Giit ng PNP, walang anumang kaugnayan sa hanay ng pambansang pulisya ang fake account na ito. Bunso dito, inayag ng PNP na kumikilos na ang anti-cybercrime group upang matukoy at makasuhan ang nasa likod ng bogus na social media account. Dahil dito, kanilang pinaalalahanan ang publiko na maging mabusisi sa pag-follow o pag-share ng mga post mula sa mga peking Philippine National Police page. Dagdag ng PNP, malaking tulong ang pagiging mapanuri ng lahat upang mapigilan ang pagkalat ng fake news. Ito si Patrol 17 Chopel Pileño. Para sa impilang may todong lakas, DWIZ nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
At yan ang mga tamang balita sa oras na ito. Mag-follow at subscribe sa lahat ng DWIZ digital news accounts. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, DWIZ News App at DWIZ News website. Ako po si Daryl Justin, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
Oras-oras nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama. DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up. DWIZ Negoshow. Kasama sina Lito Gagni at Gerry Urbina. Negoshow.
Okay.
Yeah, may tanong dito
We're
ha.
back.
Galing Lasal. Ay, Ateneo pala, sorry. Sportscasting might not be a traditional business.
Yes.
But in many ways, you are your own brand. How have you built and managed the Jing Jam Lang brand over the years?
Poorly. I would say.
Galing sa Ateneo to, Ateneo.
You know, I would like to say, I wish I could say that I built this brick by brick, knowing exactly where I was going to go. But honestly, I was being tugged in many different ways at the time. And in my 15 years, there was a time na talagang all in ako sa sportscasting ko and my hosting. And in other times, I was a bit lukewarm. But one thing that I can be proud of looking back is that it's always been there. And for 15 years to be able to stay in the industry, I would say, is a big win and an achievement for me. And the only way that I was able to do that was always staying authentic and always staying passionate about the games, about what I'm involved with, right? So I've been involved, I started in football, but I also had to get into volleyball.
Okay.
Volleyball, wow.
Basketball.
Volleyball. Sikat ngayon ha. Oh.
Right. And people would want to get into volleyball now because of that. But I was doing it back in the day when it wasn't as much of a
Yep.
big deal. And I wasn't a volleyball player. So kailangan kong matuto and to understand ano ba yung mga aspeto ng volleyball that is actually quite exciting.
Yes.
So I had to do that with volleyball. I've recently did badminton. I got called in to do a rhythmic gymnastics in
Oh, wow.
SEA Games,
Oh, wow.
right?
Okay.
And my analyst at the time had a breakdown 10 minutes before the start of the broadcast. Umiyak siya kasi sabi niya, hindi ko kaya to. That's a different story. Anyways, so,
Wow.
anyways, what I'm trying to say is you were going to get thrown all of these different opportunities. And there was a time in my life where I was like, gusto ko mag-specialize. Gusto ko, ito lang ako. I want to be known as the football guy.
Yep.
And I want to be known as this, that, or the other. Or I want to chase something that's going to make me more money. And I realized that in hindsight now, everything and the way I'm moving forward is, this is a great profession for you as your skill set and what I love about sports, my passion for the games. And I get to share that with other people. So to appreciate that I get a chance to do this, it's not so much about chasing money or getting exposure. It's about you. I'd like to think that I was given a gift to be able to share my love for the games.
Right.
And if I can do that in a way that helps people be more inspired to dive deeper in their sports, then I get to do that. So now that's how I approach it. I feel fortunate, I feel grateful, and then I try to provide as much value as I can to the viewer. And it seems that people are responding by giving me more work.
Okay.
Wow.
Right? So
I guess yan ang greatest measure, no?
Yeah.
The more jobs you book.
yeah. So
Pero as usually I ask this question. What's the big dream, Jim?
well, for me, it's more about my family now that I have a 2-year-old. I've kind of reorganized myself into being more of a servant for God, servant for my wife, and servant for my family.
Wow,
And
ganda.
that's how that's my hierarchy of priorities at the moment.
Parehas tayo, trifecta.
Right? So that's my dreams of making a lot of money or driving nice things and all of that. That's become not really something that I think about anymore, right? So it's how can I grow in my faith? How can I become of service to other people? Is more of my focus. And that I get to do this in the realms of my passion and the things that I'm actually interested in is a great blessing to me. So I hold on to that a little bit tighter now, and that I get to do this in football. It's beautiful, or in sports in general. So I just try to do my best that I can, because I'm reaching hundreds, thousands of people, and hopefully making a bit of an impact on them.
Yeah. Jing, you've covered some of the Philippine football's most exciting moments. Which one stands out as the most unforgettable? And why, of course?
There are two. So the Philippines right now, the men's team is in the midst of trying to qualify for our second Asian Cup.
Asian Cup.
We're top of the group. We're doing well. But we qualified one other time before, and that was back in 2019. The game that qualified us into the Asian Cup, I called. It was at Rizal Memorial Stadium, and we needed to get at least a draw against Tajikistan, and they scored first. So there was a nerve-wracking affair. And I remember people criticizing me because I got too excited about Tajikistan's goal. Right? Because the way I think about it, I'm a sportscaster. I'm not Filipino or anything else.
Yes.
I'm calling the game. I'm a neutral.
Yes.
And I've always prided myself in being able to do that, even with my affiliations with other clubs or whatever.
Yes.
So I got excited about the goal for Tajikistan because this was a big deal for them, right? That they might be able to go through. So anyway, we ended up winning that game. It was a historic event. And I remember thinking, wow, you really played that down the line. I was proud of myself that I was able to take away my national pride. Of course, I was so proud na panalo tayo, lumusot tayo. But I was able to draw a line that, okay, you're a professional. You're not allowing your emotions get the better of you in that moment like that. And of course, that was a big deal. And then the next one was the women's team winning in the Southeast Asian Championship. And that was our first major trophy for the senior teams, for men and women. And it happened in Rizal Memorial Stadium again. And I was the commentator for that one, for the final. And I thought I really did a great job in creating an intro and setting the table on ano yung significance ng laro na to. And luckily that's recorded, and I could relive that and see na parang, man, you were a part of that. So that's I was very proud of that. Yeah.
Oh, nice, huh? Yeah. Pero let me see. Can I ask a different question? Yeah. From your perspective as as an analyst for sports, especially football, where saan ang ating fault? Where is our fault in not pushing for football?
I think it's there's a lot of focus on the other sports because of history, I guess, and the popularity of basketball and now volleyball. It's really not so much the fault of the Filipino people, but it's the challenge that the football community has. That it's our role to grow the sport and to make it sustainable so that more and more people can get involved, right? I think the biggest challenge that we have is growing the pie. I think football was a neat niche sport, and people were happy that they had control of a niche sport. And I think football is much bigger. It could be much bigger.
Yes.
I genuinely believe that it could be the biggest sport in the Philippines. We have huge potential in it. The infrastructure in terms of the organizational structure is there. But there is a lot of room for improvement, right? And I think over the last 15 years that I've been involved with it, we've seen some really high highs and the inability to sustain that hype and momentum, right? So I think now with the current generation of individuals who have been there and have seen that, now we're understanding, okay, you know what? It's okay to fail as long as we fail better and we fail faster and start to, create more versions of football that will actually become sustainable down the road. So, we just have to iterate more quickly and more smartly, I think is the way forward for us, right? And not be afraid to fail. But football's got a huge potential.
Wait, yung football, right? It has a reputation na ang mayaman. Diba? Kasi mahal ang boots. Diba?
Sure.
Mahal yung sapatos. Yung venues, there's not much around.
Konti.
Diba? Lacking. Diba?
Yes.
Also, wala tayong grassroots development, diba? Outside of Metro Manila, diba? Kasi dito ang daming camps. Pero kung pumasyal ka na sa mga iba't ibang probinsya, wala namang mga grassroots na development programs.
I suppose it depends where you go, because like in Barotac Nuevo sa Iloilo, dun grassroots.
Buhay na buhay.
parte ng buhay nila. Diba?
Oo.
So, pag
Ganda.
nasa plaza ka or nandun ka sa, dun sa harap ng simbahan, may naglalaro
Oo.
at any time of the day.
Yeah.
And the moms, they come, they watch their kids play, dun sila nagkukantuhan, dun sila naglolokohan. It's part of the culture.
Correct.
Right? So, venues are a real problem. It really is, right? So, in the Philippines, sabihin natin, ang daming pitches, but they're always booked up.
Okay.
And to have a casual game, mahirap.
Mahirap.
Kailangan mo maglabas ng pera to rent the field, right? So, it's really, growing the game involves creating avenues for people to experience the game, right? And that's part of the structure needs to be helped by the people within the federations, within football clubs, the people with already a bit of money to be able to say, I want to create something for people who may not be able to pay their way into a game, right? So, that's definitely one of the biggest challenges, I would say.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Barota,
Yes.
Iloilo, kasi a lot of people forget, di ba, that the greatest football player came out of Barota,
Yes.
Paulino Alcantara,
Yeah.
right?
Galing,
The late, great Paulino Alcantara, who they say is the GOAT, right? The greatest that ever played, right? I mean, aside from Messi, of course.
Yes.
But, and I think we need to, I guess, really hype that up,
Push,
you know?
push.
Yeah, we need to remind people that, the Philippines, we were once great in playing football.
Yes.
Right?
Hindi, pero kasi tama-tama ngayon because basketball is the crowd's waning in basketball, volleyball na. Siguro if football can, have that putok na mag-explode sa consciousness,
Yes.
baka gumanda pa.
Definitely, there is the potential for that, and success on the national team stage could become a catalyst for helping people get into the sport. But it's about sustaining it. So kasama yun sa challenges for the Philippines, and sustaining. If a national team only plays let's say 5 to 10 times a year,
Sayang.
Kulang na kulang.
Kulang.
creating interest for that from a marketing perspective is much easier than saying I need your attention for 9 months out of the year, diba? So having these heroes, as you mentioned, as like Paulino Alcantara, and people being absorbed in those stories and understanding of I want to create my own story down the road, or importante yan, so we need to be able to uplift more personalities within the game. And I think that's one of the aspects that we really need to improve on. Collaboration, growing the sport, and giving the flowers to the people who deserve it.
Yep.
We need to create heroes. We need to respect their legacies and what their contribution to the game is. And I think that's not just a football thing. I think it's a Filipino sports culture thing. Na parang we need to be better at shining a light and commemorating our heroes.
Tama. Wait, let's talk about naman how you prepare for sportscasting and event hosting. But before you share your tips, kailangan muna natin mag-break. It's 2:45.
Oras hatid sa inyo ng Pagcor. DWIZ Negoshow. Time check. It's 10 o'clock. Tuwing 10 o'clock, siguruhin nakatuto ka sa Aliw Broadcasting Corporation. DWIZ News Nationwide. DWIZ News FM Regional Stations. Aliw Channel 23 at DWIZ News TV para sa Health Habit. Makinig, manood at follow na sa Health Habit. Araw-araw, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 10 o'clock ng umaga at 10 o'clock ng gabi. Hatid ng PhilHealth. Pilipino ako, may PhilHealth ako. Mga balitang scoop exclusive! Mga balitang nangyayari pa at gusto mong malaman kung ano na ang latest scoop. Mga balitang hindi mo dapat bitawan at kailangan ng tutok. Mababalitaan lahat, hagip lahat sa DWIZ News Scoop. Naka-live sa Aliw 23 Free TV. Naka-live din sa DWIZ News. Naka-live din online. DWIZ Facebook, YouTube at DWIZ News website. Samahan ang buong puwersa ng DWIZ News and Research Team sa paggalugad sa buong bansa at buong mundo ng balita at impormasyon.
DWIZ News Scoop. Maki-scoop 4 p.m. Monday to Friday kasama si Dennis Antenor Jr. DWIZ News Scoop. Bahagi pa rin ng inaabangan tuwing hapon sa DWIZ News Hapon Highlights. Nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
Mga lugar na pinuntahan ng ibang tao, mga produkto, serbisyo na rekomendado. Alamin sa Highly Recommended.
Handa ka na bang maranasan ang kakaibang alindog ng Zamboanga? Simula ng iyong paglalakbay sa Great Santa Cruz Island. Kilala sa buong mundo dahil sa natatanging pink na buhangin nito. Isang mabilis na biyahe lamang mula sa Paseo del Mar. Matutuklasan mo rito ang paraiso ng malinaw na tubig at makulay na kultura. Huwag kalimutang bisitahin ang Fort Pilar, isang makasaysayang muog na itinayo noong panahon ng mga Espanyol. Bukod sa pagiging isang pambansang dambana, nagsisilbi rin itong museo na nagpapakita ng mayamang kasaysayan ng lungsod. Pagkatapos ng iyong paglalakbay sa kasaysayan, magpahinga at magpalamig sa Paseo del Mar, isang baywalk na puno ng buhay tuwing gabi. Dito matatanaw mo ang kamangha-manghang tanawin ng dagat habang tinatangkilik ang lokal na pagkain at musika. Para naman sa mga mahilig sa kalikasan, huwag palampasin ang Merloque Falls, matatagpuan sa Barangay Sibulao. Ang talon na ito ay may 2 antas na bumabagsak sa malapad na batuhan, perpekto para sa isang nakakapreskong pagligo. Sa bawat sulok ng Zamboanga, may bagong tuklas at karanasang naghihintay sa iyo. Kaya tara na at tuklasin ang makulay na kultura at likas na ganda ng Zamboanga. At yan ang ating highly recommended.
Health is the best wealth sa mga working millennials na may kakaibang challenge pagdating sa kalusugan sa panahon ngayon. Body wellness, mental wellness, at financial wellness. Be sure balance ang lahat sa DWIZ Life Balance. Kasama sina Daryl Justin at Gia Rafael. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Show!
Okay, we're back. Yes.
Okay.
May nakabitin na tanong, Jing.
Yes.
Yun nga. How do you prep for, yun nga, sportscasting and event hosting? Baka may mga tips kang pwede i-share sa mga nanonood at nakikinig today.
For me, for games, it revolves around the 2 teams and the players. Right. So most of the preparation will come with what are the stakes. How are you? What's the form like going into this? A little bit of background on the teams and on the players itself, right? So who are? I like to do a very short. What I do is like I'll create 2 columns and they're little boxes, and I'll put like, okay, the player's number, his name, where is he from, his age, and then I'll do like, where did you play prior? And then maybe some awards that you've picked up along the way, so I can give a little bit of a context to who you are, a little bit of flavor, and then I will write a note like. Maybe hasn't been playing all too much lately. He's coming fresh from an injury, or look out for him in this particular aspect of the game. He's got a great left foot, great delivery into the box, and these are things that ipapasok ko lang kung relevant siya sa laro.
Ayun.
One thing that you will notice with a lot of sportscasters who prepare very well, gusto na ilabas lahat ng information kahit na hindi relevant. So hindi naman nakatutok dun sa player na yun. Pero nag-homework ako kagabi. So gusto ko ilabas yung homework ko. Parang ganun. It's always just like, most of the time, maybe you're gonna leave 40% inside your lunchbox. Or 50%. Maybe even more.
Okay.
Right? Maybe it's 60 or 70% na hindi mo magagamit because hindi siya relevant on the day. But basically that. And then, again, as in hosting, the intro is the most important.
The intro, okay.
Setting the table.
Setting the
Because it gives everybody an idea of sino ba yung naglalaro? Ano ba yung nakataya dito sa laro na to? Ano mangyayari kung may nanalo? Ano yung mangyayari kung may matalo? Bakit importante ito para sa akin? Bakit ako dapat manood? Yun lang naman yun eh, di ba? So, okay, you gave me 10 minutes. Are you in? Right? I told you what this is about, who the relevant players are, what's at stake. Are you going to join us for the ride? Right? So that 10 minutes is important. In hosting, it's similar. You want to let everybody know what you're here for, what to expect, what you're going to get out of me and what you're going to get out of this event. So let's go on this journey together. I want you to get excited for this, right? So it's my job to get you invested in the next 2 hours. And for hosting, it's similar, right? If it's a couple, then I need to know about the couple. I need to know about who's going to be in the room with me today, so I can get a feel of what to say and how to engage with everyone. So,
Maganda,
that's
tama
it.
yan, tama.
Yeah. Wait, alam mo naman yung programa namin, Negoshow, di ba?
Yes.
We're here to inspire more Filipino and Filipina entrepreneurs. I mean, what lessons from yun nga, yung sportscasting mo plus event hosting mo, do you think entrepreneurs or small business owners can apply to their own journeys?
One is patience.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, myself included, and I think this was my biggest siguro pagkukulang sa career ko, is masyado ako nagmamadali, right? Kasi nakikita ko yung abilidad ko in comparison to other people, and I feel like, maybe I deserve that opportunity more than somebody else, right? I mean, we can all become victims of our own ego and our own delusions, I think, and that was something that I needed to come to terms with. Na parang maybe you're not as good as you think you are, or other people are better than you think they are also, right? And maybe not focus too much on the externals and focus more on yourself and what you can bring to the table. And so for me, it's patience is a big thing, and slow and steady wins the race, and that's a big thing for football in particular, where I'm involved in. Masyadong gustong magmadali, kaya hindi tayo nakakagawa ng magandang foundation para mag-build, right? So for me, it's patience and work on your craft. Work on your craft all the time, right? You're in the right spaces doesn't mean you're a finished product. Kailangan mo pa rin magpagaling all the time. And if you're not getting better with resources here in the Philippines, you're lucky you live in a world where the internet is available. All the knowledge in the world is in your pocket, right? So you're always gonna find ways to make yourself better. So I think that's the thing, if you have a craft, you have a business, make it as best as you can and do it every day.
Yeah.
Be patient. You'll get the rewards soon enough.
Galing.
Ganda.
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 Wait, Jing, may isa ka pang career highlight. Kasi you manage Kaya FC Iloilo, di ba?
right.
A professional
Yes.
football team, di ba? One of the most popular here in the Philippines, di ba? That's the other side,
Yes.
di ba? Kasi madalas ka dito sa sportscasting side, pero this time you transferred over to the other side. You
Manager.
managing a sports team. Can you siguro talk about that, elaborate on the lessons that you learned being on that management side?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest achievements and joys in my life, and I thank Paul Tolentino for giving me the chance to do that. And I was involved with the team as a media and marketing officer for 5 years at the time, and I was looking for more. I was looking for a way to contribute to the team and to provide value, and I decided that maybe I could give team management a shot. And managing people was a lot more difficult than I expected, right? It's humans are the biggest resource that we have, but they're also the most complicated and complex. And I think that's where I got to understand that, as commentators, as analysts, and so-called experts in the field, it's so easy to look at individuals and criticize them and to think na you know exactly what is going on. But there's so many layers to how things work. Even in just team selection. Bakit bilang ko yung player na yan? Sigurado ako he would have been the best person for this particular game and blah, 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 blah. But you don't know that person came to training late twice in the last week in the lead up to this game.
So discipline.
And playing him over some other guy will have ruined the team dynamics for the next 2 months if I had done that. Diba? Yung mga ganyang mga bagay, you start to understand that, okay, decision making is, first of all, wow, you are paid to make decisions at a very split second, but the context to these decisions, people need to take more time and understanding in why these decisions come to be. And you have to respect people's decision making, and collaborating with people can be very uncomfortable because you don't always agree, lalo na with your bosses. You don't agree with their decisions. And if you're going to play your part, you have to be able to do your job despite of the friction that his decisions might make. So that's something that I learned through management only. Because for me, it was easy. I come in, I do my job, then I leave. I'm a commentator. I don't need to get involved in the politics. In management, politics is the game. You are in there. The dynamics of the team, the dynamics with other teams, diba?
Yep.
So, yeah, it was a real eye-opener for me. And I think there's a reason why I'm not in management right now.
So many, yung tatay, ba't binangko mo? Hindi mo masasabi na walang disiplina,
Yes. Yeah,
Yan,
that's
kasama
true.
yan. Malaking bagay yun.
Malaking bagay yan, yeah. I mean, Jing, kasi we're approaching the tail end of our show. Ang bilis ng oras dito, no?
Bilis.
I mean, what advice would you give to young Filipinos who dream of working in sports? Like you, di ba?
You know, it's been such a joy now that I'm getting the new generation of sportscasters coming through.
Okay,
and I
good.
get a chance to mingle with them and talk with them, and I'm very open with my advice, because I feel like if we can elevate sportscasting, it's better for everybody. You know, so I really don't believe in gatekeeping. And my advice to them would be similar to what I mentioned earlier. You know, it's like, if you love this, love it for the right reasons. Love it for the craft. Okay, you're here to make an experience for the viewer.
Galing.
Don't use this as a platform for you so I can take a picture and put it on social media and this is who I am and look at me, I'm boosting my profile. The job is the job. Focus on the job, get better at it, be patient, and do your best all the time. That's it. I mean, that's my advice to people is don't focus too much. It's a world of social media.
Yep.
Rightly or
Tabayaan mo
wrongly,
lang.
for better or for worse, right? But don't let that be the reason why you do things. Right? It's not for clout. Do it for the work.
Magagaling ang mga ang isang magaling na sportscaster si Kinito Henson taga Ateneo ata yun, di ba?
Sal, tito, ikaw
Sal.
The Dean.
Alam mo,
Grabe ka talaga dito.
These guys, Kinito Henson, Sev Sarmenta.
Yeah. Ayun ang mga
How long have they been doing this?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Incredible.
Grabe
They-
yung
they
kanyang
still bring
research
value.
yung mga lalo sa boxing, alam mo na
Correct.
kagad,
Yeah.
Grabe. Mga idol yung mga yan.
Yeah.
O, taga Ateneo yun, di ba? Sorry.
Jing, kalimutan ko tuloy. No. Jing, are you open to mentoring individuals that are looking into, jumping into sportscasting or event hosting?
Of course.
Can they reach out to you?
Of course.
Ayan, guys, you heard it here.
yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking for a mentor, Jing Hamlang is willing.
Yeah. I'd love to be a part of that. Yeah, sure.
Galing.
Well,
Anyway,
Jing,
ang
anyway,
bilis,
we've run out of time.
Man, ang
Thank
bilis
you
nga.
so much
Thank
for
you so
spending
much.
your afternoon with us, and we hope to have you back on the show.
It's been
Okay.
a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Walang yumayaman sa pagiging empleyado lang.